I'm Gus in the bus.
I own this bus, which is a 1995 Ford diesel, big diesel V8 engine. A couple of small panels, just because I found them in Craigslist. They were like $1 a watt. That larger one I found later on is 170 watts. I mean, getting up on the roof is something I don't like. I don't like to climb up there. I'm an old guy. If I fall off and break a leg, all this is over. If this side is pointed south, then I get far more power than the average person.
Oh, come on in.
Inside's the same as everybody else's van, motorhome, and whatever. I mean, when I say that, we all have some sort of kitchen area. This is just, I'm sort of showing you this because this is the first thing, other than my bed, this was the first thing I bought. I bought 2 cabinets at Home Depot and screwed them to the wall and put a top on it. $250, and it took me 1 day to put this in. Took me 1 day to put this trunk in. Then once I built the box, I lifted my bed up a little bit so they're both the same height. So now I can, if I want to, I can just put a 2-foot board in here and I can have a double bed. I found a tabletop on the beach. Took the tabletop and just stuck a piece of 2x4 on it. And this is my biggest mistake, because for almost no effort and almost no time and almost no cost, I could get a real nice tabletop. But I took this piece of crap and I've never had the impetus to change it. I've got a box like this. This is basically intended to be a sitting stool or a bench that you would sit on, and I might upholster it if I decide to keep it for sure. But I put it here because I wanted to put my batteries in here, the batteries that the solar panels are charging. So I've got 4 batteries that I bought that were used. The easiest way to say it is they don't charge up to their full power, and then when I use them, they drain really quickly. So they're not going to run my fridge all night, every night. But I have left the fridge on, and it runs it. And 2,000 watt inverter in there to run my iMac, charge my batteries for my photography, charge my laptop, tool batteries. I can only stay out of the country for 6 months because of my pension. So I have to come back. If I leave in October, I have to come back in March. So I would come back in March, and it's still a bit chilly. Needed to buy a heater or something, but some of the other van dwellers that were here had been given this, but it's too big for their little van. When you can pay like $6 a gallon for diesel, or $27 for kerosene, I decided to run it on diesel. And so there's a bit, people tell me the inside of my bus smells like a boat. Any pensioner can simply go buy themselves a vehicle, drive around, see all of the North America in the budget that a senior citizen gets. When I was down in the States, one of the friends that I was sort of hanging out with at Slab City had a tank that he had for sale. So I asked him how much. He said $40. I bought the tank and a pump for $40. I don't know what they're worth. When I want to shower, if I have my shower here, this curtain will come out and go around. So when I have my shower here, all the water runs out onto the roadway or the street or the dirt. I'm seldom standing nude in my doorway. I actually take, this is mostly to rinse my hair and rinse soap off my body and stuff, but I actually have fill a bucket, wash my body, and then I use this to rinse myself. I have a porta potty, but I almost never use it. That was one of the first things I bought. It was an absolute necessity. You got to have a porta potty. That was like what I had here. And then I found myself using washrooms everywhere. My typical scenario is to wake up and go and get a coffee. And then I use the washroom in the coffee shop. So the porta potty's there for dire emergencies. Well, I was sitting in my apartment thinking I should be traveling. I looked at boats, and I was looking at boating channels, like people on catamarans and people on boats, and
how they travel down the coast and stuff. So I couldn't have a boat that would be a full-time home. If I took it to Mexico, I'd have to leave it there, and a lot of boats get stolen and ripped up and stuff like that. So I just decided I would go and buy myself something I could live in. And that came after seeing, YouTube channels of van dwellers and nomadics and stuff, and people with motorhomes. Anybody that wants to do this must have an income or know how they're going to make money before they start down the road. They don't have to have some people are like our farm workers. They have transient jobs. There are jobs for transient people. You don't have to have a lot of money, but you have to plan to make it somewhere. In other words, in a few months there's going to be some people picking mushrooms, and then there's people picking fruit in the Okanagan here. Well, everybody, like I was married, had kids, bought homes, had a fantastic job, was very successful. I was very rich and I was very poor at various times in my life. I'm not trying to prove anything, buy anything, make my life bigger or anything like that. I'm just trying to live my life. And so I don't have a need to impress people. I'm a photographer. I get pretty girls in my bus. I get more pretty girls in this old stupid bus than most people with Ferraris. So I'm not trying to impress people or anything like that. I'm not trying to grow my life. I'm just trying to live off the last few years of it and get the most out of my life. So it's kind of like I could have stayed in my apartment, which would be about 120 square foot coffin, or I can be in this bus and travel, or this limousine and travel all the way up and down the coast on a regular basis. The most important thing is that I'm healthier and I'm growing, mentally growing. I'm learning different things and I'm keeping myself active. So my mind is staying younger and my body's staying younger. And when you're 69, getting younger every year is a good deal. Life is what you make it. The reality is what you perceive it to be. And you get to go and live. I shouldn't say you get to. You will all live your own reality. And if your reality somehow tells you you can't do this, you won't be able to. If you're afraid of things, in other words, if you're looking at me and think, wow, that's a courageous dude, you're the wrong person to be in a van. If you look at me and say, wow, he's got that figured out, and he clearly doesn't have any fear about what he's doing, so my fears are unfounded, then you can get into Vanlife.
Where can people follow your journey?
YouTube, Gus in a Bus.